أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All praise and thanks belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and peace and blessings be upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب زدنا علما رب زدنا علما رب زدنا علما. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dear sisters, this presentation I've prepared for you, for those who are with me studying at the Islamic University, the bachelor degree. I prepared it for all of you who are like me, mothers and wives, who maintain the homes and perhaps other stuff. So I have tried to put together some of my tips, some things that helped me to be able to study and manage everything else. Inshallah, let's proceed to our slides. First thing, and that would be for everything, would be setting realistic goals and assessing realistically your situation. So when considering studies and considering how much time and subjects and everything, first you need to assess your home situation. You need to see how many kids you have, what do you manage, how much your husband is helping you at home. Is there other stuff that needs to be done by you? So every situation is different, every home is different. So inshallah you will be able to realistically look at your situation and think about what you are able to do, what you are capable of doing. Then it would be good time to assess your time situation, your time frames, to have a look at what are you doing during the day, how much time does it require, if you have any spare time, if there is something you can sacrifice to create more time. You can have a look if there is, if you do not have a time, how to get how to create a spare time. So inshallah I will try to provide you with some tips for creating a spare time. Once we have done that, we can choose our subjects. We choose our subjects according to the time we are able to dedicate to our studies. We should be able to give 3 to 4 hours of studies per day. We should be able to even try to do more than that for the studies to be more for us more beneficial, to be able to understand better, not to just pass by it very fast as long as I did it. I don't think that would be the goal for us. So let's give it at least 4 hours of studies per day. Then there is the amount of the subjects. Me personally, I had first semester I had 7 subjects. However, the second semester I'm choosing 6 only, as alhamdulillah I have been able to manage the 7 subjects with all my modules and not having really any delays. However, once it comes to the assignments, that becomes a little bit more difficult, because then you have 7 assignments to write, sometimes more if there is an A and B part, and you need to create much more time, because every assignment is different, and on every assignment you need a different amount of work and research. So I find personally that 7 subjects is, as far as it's managing, it's fine. However, As far as the assignments and everything, it's quite it can be overwhelming, especially if you cannot really find the materials that you are looking for. So I do recommend 6 subjects or less. Of course, when you have a small babies, probably less would be better than more. Here are some organizing tips. Between my tips would be kids' early bedtime. Some cultures are, let's say, a little bit loose as what organizing means, and kids' bedtime. They have a different kind of approach. I would say a less Islamic approach, because health is our amana that we need to take care of, which means to have a certain amount of sleep, especially for our children in their age of growth. Then as well, sometimes children are running around at 11 o'clock in the night and making a noise for our neighbors, and that is not very Islamic or considerate, as we are taught to be considerate to our neighbors, to generally to people around us. So the average sleeping time varies from age to age. For me, I have a preschooler and I have a school-age children. So for me, it's anywhere between 10 to 13 hours of sleep per day. Of course, they do not have an uptime anymore. That means it should be during the night. Alhamdulillah, they have been since very young age going to sleep early. However, when you want to consider a kid's bedtime, let's say your children are used to going to sleep at 9, 10 o'clock, and they have a school, they need to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, which that is no way that you can fit in 10 hours of sleep, or 11, or more than that. So I do recommend try bit by bit, day by day, to decrease the time. To instead of going 9, try 8:30, then 8 o'clock, then less. I also recommend for dinner time to be quite early, as it's possible. That means 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:30, something that because it's not healthy to go to sleep with a full stomach. So kids, they will have a time to digest their food, and also it will give them enough time to not to feel they're going from a table to bed, but time to slowly get ready, so that you get ready for bed, to brush their teeth, and or whatever bedtime story, whatever you are doing with them as your routine. So I do recommend start even with the dinners earlier, and for them to go to bed. So you will see how much time they have to sleep. Kids' bedtime is not only healthy for them, but it's also healthy for you as a parent, because you are with your children all day, and it's hard to have a quiet time or quality time. It's hard to have a quality time, especially with young children or with your husband. It's very difficult to find spare time for your hobbies or anything. So this gives you at least 2 hours alone without kids, which I find personally very beneficial, especially when living far, as we do from a family or from any help. So I do recommend it. Me personally, my children are going to sleep anywhere between 7:15 to maximum 8 o'clock, which gives me then at least 2 hours of studies per evening. So here we go. If you didn't have any spare time, here you can have 2 hours of study time. If possible, according to the ages of your children, try to delegate some of your work. Try to give them some of the tasks that you are doing for them, but they are unable to do it by themselves. For example, making their beds, cleaning their rooms, helping with the dishes, cleaning up the table, sweeping up the floor, something that will help your work. It will not just help you in general, but also it will give them responsibility. It will teach them as well that they need to do their part. So it's good for both sides. Another tip that I would give you is a daily menu. What daily menu is basically organizing your meals. I have created, or I sat down with my family. I asked them for their favorite meals, and I organized by colors different kinds of meals. I have a different color for lunch, dinner, or salads, because usually in our house it's very light dinner, salad with some soup, or some kind of just a light thing, hot dog or sandwiches or anything like that. So we sit down and we have put together meals. We put together about 30 meals. I considered some vegetarian, some fast food, something that I can make a day ahead, something that has a chicken or fish, meat, whatever that will make it a little bit interesting, the menu. Then what I do is that I put the cards together and then I just choose. I choose 7 to 10, it depends on the shopping time, meals ahead. So it doesn't happen to me anymore that I'm standing in my kitchen or in front of my pantry and thinking, what am I going to cook? I'm not going anymore and asking everybody, oh, what would you like to eat? No, I have meals that are planned ahead, so I know what I'm going to cook. So if I have a certain meat that is in the freezer, I know I need to take it out. So I don't do something on the last minute. So you can do the same, or you can just have it on the list, whatever is easier for you. As you can see, I have put together on the meals, even my ingredients, so it helps me as well in shopping. I do, alhamdulillah, I find it very economic in the sense that we buy only what we need, and we buy different varieties, as we are not stuck with the same food over and over again. So I do find this being helpful, not just for cooking, for the kitchen time, but also for the wallet, for the shopping time, because you just know what you're gonna cook. Then what I do is that I have bought a board that I write my daily menu on, and next to it I have a small paper that I have put together the 10 meals, and I just mark whatever I have cooked so I know what is left. A very positive side of that is that all the members of my family know what we're going to eat the next day, and they also know what's going to be for lunch and for dinner. So even if there is something they really don't like, I tell them in the morning, this is what we are eating, so get ready for it, So they have until, let's say, last time we had a mushroom soup, which they don't like too much, most of them. So I told them, you knew that from breakfast, so go ahead. Alhamdulillah, everybody ate it, so, and without so much fuss and it would normally be. So this is the daily menu that I absolutely recommend, not just when studying, but in general. Here we have some study tips. I will present some useful tools that me personally I do use a lot, or I wish I have. The first thing I find very helpful is MP3 player. I do download and record all my lectures, so I'm able to listen anytime, anywhere, while doing anything. I can listen once, twice, 3 times. I can listen a one lecture all day, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. I used to do it with a computer, and I would say it's after some time it's quite annoying. So I do prefer that, as it gives me certain freedom. As most of the books are, well, all of the books are in PDF format, unless you want to buy them. So I do recommend, even though I do not have it yet, inshallah with the time, I do recommend a e-reader if you do not want to print your books. I got this tip from my dear friend who is studying as well online, not Islamic University, but something else, and she found very, very helpful. I have some printing tips if you are printing like me. I do recommend printing multiple pages. Try 2 to 4. You will see the size of the letters. You will see how comfortable you are reading it. So I used to have it one, and some books are 700 pages, so it's quite difficult. So this time I decided to be doing 2 to 4, depending on the book and its font. But alhamdulillah, that means you have 8 pages on a one paper. So that's it's alhamdulillah, it's very economic, and not just on your paper, but on your ink also. I do recommend ink management settings. Have a look on your printer settings. You will usually find something that would be going with economic print, or ability to adjust a color of the ink, or brightness. So depending on your mark, but have a look around, play a little bit with the settings. I'm sure inshallah you will be able to find something that would suit you best. Also, if you are buying an ink, try to have a look for some big economic size than small sizes that might be cheaper, but when compared to how many pages it prints, it's just not practical. I'm gonna give you my tips. I'm gonna give you tips on studies. First thing I would recommend is to read the material first. I do recommend it because it gives you more as an idea what is the lecture is going to be about. So and sometimes if you pass by something and you don't understand it, or it's not very clear to you, with a huge possibility, inshallah, the sheikh during the lecture will explain it, so you will be able to mark it down, or you will just be able to note it. Once you read it, listen the lectures. If you have the MP3, as I recommend, you can listen anywhere, as long as it's safe. You are able to listen while doing anything. So sometimes I do listen when I cook or clean, or I'm outside with my kids. Alhamdulillah, because of the MP3, I have been able to come back to crocheting and sewing and knitting and decoupage and gardening and everything else, because I do not need to be stuck with the computer. So I do recommend multitasking And the good thing on it is, if you have the MP3 and you are doing different stuff, you are able to, let's say, repeat the lecture once or twice. So you make sure nothing slips. So I do recommend the multitasking. Not, try. Well, we are women. We are able to do a lot of stuff. MashaAllah. I do recommend, or I do not recommend, TV. I do recommend taking the TV from your schedule, abandoning the TV and not sitting in front of it, even if it's just for 5 minutes, because 5 minutes always in front of TV end up to be in 1 hour or 2 hours, and in the end you find out during the evening you have done nothing at all. So I do recommend just shut down the TV totally. It's just eating the time, and it's not comfortable. It's something that will destroy everything, as well, because you cannot always see, and everything is halal. So it's something that, it's not positive for you in a general. So I do recommend taking it from the list. Taking it away from the list. Another recommendation would be waking up early. It is not only sunnah, it is also something that you will find very, very practical. So you will combine everything together. You will combine the rewards, and you will combine the barakah in your time. You will find you can wake up, let's say, 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours before everybody will wake up, which means winter time, it's gonna be a time when you can make tahajjud. It will be a time when you make sure you are there for Fajr. You will be able to read a little bit of Quran in the morning, and you will be able to have a breakfast if you want alone, quietly, and you will be able to study. You are able to combine all of that, And when I say study, do not look at studies as something that it's, even though it's good, it's something that it's, taking you away from certain things, because studying is an ibadah. So you are basically, imagine that you are turning all your day into ibadah. You will concentrate on studies. With the knowledge you will get, you will be able to remind yourself and turn your daily tasks into ibadah. Imagine every meal you cook, every spot you clean, every clothes, every piece of clothes you wash, you will turn that into ibadah. So inshallah, do not look at bed as something positive. Look at your bed as something that's keeping you away from all of that reward. So inshallah, wake up early, being able to pray tahajjud, being able to pray Fajr on time, and do much more stuff before everyone will wake up. This will give you at least 2 hours in the morning. Now I have just showed you, by putting your kids early to bed, by waking up early, getting a minimum of 4 hours per day to study. MashaAllah. So it is easy. Alhamdulillah. We just need to organize and have a look what we can do. Last but not least would be dua. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you barakah in your time. Ask Him to make things easy for you. Ask Him to help you manage everything. So inshallah, with his blessings, and with His help, everything is possible. There is no limit. So do not be afraid. Allah is near, and turn to Him, inshallah, and He will help. He always helps. So, mashallah, let's be thankful to Him for everything that we have, and inshallah He will give us even more. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us barakah in our time, to increase our knowledge, for we will be able to increase the reward of our deeds, inshallah. We will be able to do the deeds according to the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to be able to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more, and inshallah by His mercy to get the reward of Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. Inshallah, Ameen. With that, my dear sisters, I've come to the end. I hope and I pray that inshallah some of those steps, if you didn't know them, you will be able to apply them and will be useful to you as much as they are useful to me, and inshallah will continue being useful and beneficial. May Allah bless you all, and may Allah guide us all into a straight path, the path that is towards His pleasure, and there is nothing more important than that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.